What are some of the things that the Sonic fanbase are most known for? Well, 1. Plenty of them are insanely talented and can create some amazing products. 2. They clearly have a level of love and care for Sonic that seems unlike any other franchise because of their want for it to do better. And 3. They like to argue over extremely pedantic shit.
I mean, this is appalling! This is abysmal! I mean, I, along with most people in their late 20s, was expecting the classic style black-eyed Sonic.
The current topic facing the Sonic community at the time of release is Sonic Colors Ultimate, and whether or not it's a bad, buggy mess. Which it is. I was initially going to release a video talking about Colors Ultimate, but everything there is to say has already been said. Not to mention, I really just don't give a damn anymore about the quality of a port to a Wii game. There are more pressing things to discuss. Like Sonic's arm color. Now, the topic of Sonic's arm color has always been a hot button issue for many a year now. See, as we all know, Sonic was originally given tan-colored arms, and they managed to stay that way with each new iteration of the character. That is up until 2013, with the announcement of Sonic Boom, where each member of the cast were given massive design overhauls, with one of the main points of criticism being that Sonic's arms don't look very good when blue, and should remain tan. Honestly, the arguments about Sonic's arm color reminded me a lot of the green eyes debate that would happen a ton after Sonic got his redesign for Adventure. Both just seem to be a pointless addition that overcomplicates an extremely simple design. Thankfully, those arguments have lessened over the years. I actually think the blue arms issue took everyone's attention away from the green eyes, since we've now had like 20 years to get used to them.
The same ugly, stretched-out, green-eyed Sonic fighting the modern-style Eggman. Is that what he's going to be called too? Dr. Eggman? Ugh! I'm so infuriated right now. This is a complete turn-off. It's incredibly misleading.
But this all brings up the question. Despite fans going on endless tirades and debates about the importance of his arms staying tan, does it really matter? Does it truly make his design worse? Why would Sega even bother changing his arms if they're such a non-issue in the first place? Well, I'm going to discuss all of this, and not only show you why Sega decided to change his arm color, because believe you me, there is a reason, and a pretty good one at that, but also how it ultimately doesn't matter, or affect his design all that much in the end. But to discuss why changing the color is such a big issue, we first need to talk about the importance of his arms being tan in the first place. The design process for Sonic was extremely long. We all know about Sega's internal contest to create their next mascot, Wolf, Rabbit, Man in Pajamas, so on and so forth, until they landed on these little sketches of a hedgehog, made by Naoto Oshima. And so after going on and developing things further, they ended up with this cool little character they named Sonic the Hedgehog. But when designing a character, there are a lot of little decisions you gotta make that are monumental in whether or not it's gonna be appealing. Such as the color. Of course they made him blue. Not only to invoke this feeling of electric coolness, but also because the Sega logo was fucking blue, no duh. Then they made his shoes red, to represent Santa Claus, for a reason I still don't entirely know, but then you come down to his stomach and his arms. What color do we make this? Do we even need to make it a separate color? I mean, normal hedgehogs don't have tan arms, why would we need to make Sonic's? And that's when you gotta realize that Sega went in creating a character intended to be used in a video game, a 2D space. If you look at Sonic in 3D with blue arms, he looks great. You may not think so, but that's just because you're used to seeing them tan. Really, it takes nothing away about the design. But from a 2D perspective, things get a lot more muddied. You can't even really tell where his arms are placed because they blend in too much of his body. You see in a lot of old cartoons to get around this, they add a white outline to further help it stand out. But Sega also knew that this character was going to be featured in a 16-bit video game. They need to perfectly represent everything about this character in a simple sprite. So what do? Just make his arms tan like his mouth. Easy. Yeah, that's really it. Giving Sonic tan arms just helped for clarity. White gloves help you see where his hands are clearly, and tan arms helps you see his arms. Simple. And evidently, the long time it took to design the character had paid off. Sega had just created one of the most popular children's characters of all time. Which raises the question, why would they then go and mess with it? This was the fact that the cast were going to get redesigns. This was an extremely controversial decision. Many articles were written about them, fans were in an uproar about the changes. I think someone even got pepper sprayed over him. That whole heat campaign is a story for another day. But shortly after the game released and subsequently bombed, a screenshot was leaked from a beta version of the game known as Sonic Synergy. And in these screenshots we can see early designs of all the characters, including one of Boom Sonic as we know him now, with one crucial difference. The motherfucker has tan arms! This means that throughout a portion of the development of Boom, they had planned on giving Sonic tan arms, but then changed their minds and went with blue halfway through. I don't think I've been very public about this, and that's because I'm not exactly sure how rare it is to come by, but I'm actually in possession of this 500-page PDF that contains almost every single piece of concept art from Sonic Synergy. It was official. Everything from the locations to the NPCs, and yes, even the main characters. And we can clearly see that, yeah, a lot of these early designs went with the tan arms approach. Let me know if you want to see a video going over this someday. There's some neat shit in here, like notes from Takashi Iizuka, never before seen artwork, and inspiration for the characters such as Pixar's Cars. Not making that up. Anyways, why did Big Red Button go and make his arms blue? What's the meaning of this? It's easier to animate. Really, that's it. In 3D, Sonic is a bitch to work with, in terms of animation, because he's built like a mascot costume. Big heads, hands, and feet with a tiny body. If you want to learn more about this, go watch that video, the animation of Sonic the Hedgehog. You probably had to fucking recommend it to you a ton. And one of the main goals behind Boom was to make the characters more expressive and easier to animate. And to achieve this, they made characters' proportions more realistic, shrunk the head, hands, and feet. And it all paid off, because Boom easily had the best animated cutscenes of any Sonic game. And the show, especially Season 2, looks really good at times. But I can only imagine the blue arms were added so that they could get rid of these weird fucking holes Sonic has in his arm sockets. Do you know how annoying that must be to animate with? It's why Sonic's arms are always either clipping through shit or they push his arms out, almost making them disconnected from the body. His arms being blue allowed them to give him proper shoulders. And since the games were now 3D, there was no longer an issue of needing to make them tan for clarity's sake. You can argue about which you like better. Personally, I think the tan arms look nicer for some color variety. But making his arms blue did nothing but benefit the animation team, and making Sonic a more versatile and expressive character. And I was gonna sit for a while and discuss the movie, but really it's the same reason. When the initial design was revealed and everyone was doing their own personal fix of it, I saw a lot of people giving him tan arms and people would respond with, "This looks perfect, why can't they literally just copy that?" And it's because it's not that simple. This is a 2D illustration that doesn't take into account how this is going to work in a 3D space. Do you not think there's a reason why when Tyson Hesse was hired to redesign movie Sonic, he made him look as accurate as possible to modern Sonic, except for the parts that allowed him to be more anatomically correct? Stuff like making his chest more prominent, making his shins thicker and more realistic, and yes, giving him blue arms allowing for shoulders. Because if this design were the exact same but Sonic was instead given tan arms, it just doesn't look right, does it? There's also a bigger reason here for why Sega didn't really care much about changing such a staple of Sonic's design, and Aaron Weber, the former Sonic social media manager, actually discussed it on a livestream a while back. I would show the clip, but I would have no idea where to even begin looking for it. They do those streams like every other week. But his main point was, general audiences don't give a fuck if Sonic's arms are tan or blue. Of course, I'm paraphrasing a bit. But he talked about how Sega would do these survey things, like customer research, where they would ask a bunch of random people what color Sonic's arms were. And surprisingly, he said that a majority of the people asked wrongly said his arms were blue. I think sometimes we Sonic fans forget that a lot of the shit we argue about is pretty meaningless. Meaningful to us, of course, but to a wider market that could give less of a shit. There's a reason why everybody freaked out over Movie Sonic's initial design. It's because he simply looked bad. But when they redesigned him, there weren't articles being made crying, "Paramount still haven't made his arms tan though." And it's because they don't give a fuck. Hell, not even Sega gave a fuck half the time. Do you know how many pieces of official classic Sonic art feature him with tan arms? Do you know how many times they get his arm color wrong in the cartoons? It's like fucking half the frames. I remember as a kid I had this big stencil of Sonic X Sonic. It was just line work made out of foam and you had to use markers to color him in. And one day I recall walking past it and had to stop and go, I colored his fucking arms blue. Now that we're out of a point in time where characters need to convey a lot within a limited amount of pixels, Sonic's arm color became less and less of an actual issue. So yeah, that's my conclusion. Why are Sonic's arms blue now? Who the fuck cares? Well, besides them.
Don't call anybody. And that was the buy two.
Classic and modern Sonic aren't going anywhere anytime soon. If you weren't your fix of tan-armed Sonic, just engage with those designs. I'll be over here not giving a shit, because at the end of the day, Sonic is Sonic. Tan arms are not.